Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday night live stream. We hope you all had a fabulous week playing games and being children at heart, playing with toy soldiers, etc. Maybe getting some hobby and creativity done, getting your juices flowing. First of all, let's have a
that's a completely different topic to get your juices flowing, just saying.
Okay, we're going lowerly, folks. Oh my god.
Look, if the bar is barely able, or
is Crispin in the chat? Yeah, is Crispin there?
Hazard,
is Crispin there? No. Oh god.
Look, if the bar is barely a trip hazard, we can't go any lower.
I like that analogy. I like that analogy a lot. Right, let's give everybody a shout out in chat. Good to see you guys here, all nice and early. So we've got Shakos and Sprues. We've got Paul Howells of Pandyman. We have... who's that idiot? David Shithead? No, sorry, I can't read it. We've got Darren Harmon. We've got Spam and Egg. That's David's other half, just for those who don't know. In joke. We've got Orinoco. We've got Cheese Me. So yeah, good to see you guys. David is too low for you. Right, Spam. Right, okay. Just in case anybody's wondering how much bullshit that is, just go and watch some of our old content where the double entendres are flying like sharp knives, because that's horseshit.
Anyway, Spam, you're the fucking midget, not me.
I was going to say, this will summon the Crispin. So, like, say his name 3 times, fucking, and he shall appear. So, for those of you who are new to the show, welcome. Over the next couple of hours, David and I will be getting some hobby done. So we will hopefully give you some form of entertainment so that you can do exactly the same, because that's why we're here. So if you're not doing anything, get some of your models, terrain, little, start building, painting, get something done, and what's more, stick it in the chat. Tell us what you're actually doing while you're watching the show, or if you're watching us later on YouTube, stick it in the comments. So I knew that would prompt Darren, because Darren is as reliable as fucking day following night. Darren's busy updating his Spring Clean Challenge project. So far it seems to be working, although it's loading slowly. Yeah, everybody's been saying to me they're having massive issues. I had another friend contact me, Darren, saying he was having a huge problem getting stuff to work on the Tabletop project system. I don't know if it's actually whether they've got a serious website fault, or is it just they're getting increasing numbers of users using the project system, and they're not being able to sort of expand it fast enough. Does anybody know what the gossip is? What's going on with that? Also, Darren,
Gaming Gandalf when you need him.
What are you doing? Well, Gaming Gandalf scrapped his YouTube account, so sadly he can't be here. I must confess, just for Jerry's benefit, I do need to get my arse into gear and look at uploading our sort of like completed live streams or VODs to another platform that's not YouTube. I would look at simulcast with things like Facebook and Twitch. The only thing is, like, from what I've tried with experiments, obviously when you're running multiple video stream threads, if your PC isn't really up to snuff, it starts to get a little bit wobbly. And I am wrestling with an absolute potato that needs updating badly.
We may have a solution for that shortly. Bear with us.
Shakos. So usually it's the platform slowness. If you want a fast project system, I have a secret one for viewing. No, I don't know if are you. So you've got a secret project system, Shakos? What's this? What mystery is this? I was going to ask you, what is your Spring Clean project? I struggle to come up with a concept that there's anything that you left unfinished, Darren. You seem to be an absolute fucking machine when it comes to getting projects done. The concept that you actually had something half finished that you could go back to seems a bit, counterintuitive.
Oh, there we go. Right.
Ooh,
That
right.
is
Oh,
annoying.
look at this. Look, we got all sorts of. The guys are fucking teasing it. We're being teased in the chat with apparently the super fast project system. Cheese V's there as well. Only only paints. Okay, yeah. Okay, I see where this is going. Crispin! Somebody shouted his name again. Oh god. Oh dear. Right, okay, so
Anyway,
let's get
you got bloody me stripping the other week after I decided to spill contrast paint everywhere, boys and girls.
well, I didn't
Just
tell you
saying.
to take your clothes off. You had to take your clothes off because you were fucking covered in a fucking ruby red contrast paint. And half
Yeah,
of the room
exactly.
looked like a scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I thought, oh, this will get us demonetized if we were monetized at all. So go back and watch
Chances of
previous
Yellowbelly
streams
Tabletop
for
getting
this sort of
monetised.
nonsense. So yeah, if you're new to the show, let's give you a rundown of what's happening over the next couple of hours. First of all, David and I will show you what we're going to be working on. Oh my god, yeah. We'll leave the chat. We're really running with the only paints fucking thing now. So yeah, we'll show you what we're going to be hobbying on. Then we will show you some pictures from a couple of games we played last week. One at our I played a game at club on Monday, but Dave and I managed to get together on Saturday night and do some Gaslands. So I'll show you some pics of that, and we'll have a little chatette about that. Then we've got literally David's come to the rescue with one item of news, one thing to share. I don't know about you guys, but I've been utterly fucking uninspired by YouTube and current content. I mean, there was a load of fucking hoo-ha drama about Games Workshop and fucking Custodes with breasts, and then there was a load of hoo-ha about
where there's not a hoo-ha with GW.
And now is it the company that owns Asmodee? Is it and something Embracer Group or something like that? It's just gone fucking boom, and they've split their. So Asmodee's been spun off with like £1 billion, €1 billion worth of debt, which looks like it's probably going to take it down if there's not a fucking miracle. It's just the news this week has just been arse after arse after arse. So I haven't got anything to share. And then around 9 o'clock, what we'll do is we'll talk about our main topic, which this week we've already talked about scenarios briefly in the past, previous live streams, go look. But we're going to be a bit more specific, and we're going to talk about the idea of scenarios specifically designed to bring you on board as a new player. So, and also how that's handled by certain game systems, and just fucking waffle around the topic. You'll get it. 15 minutes in, you'll get it. If you've never seen us before, we pick something and then we just fucking roll with it until we run out of steam. So that's going to happen around 9 o'clock. So, look forward to that. Right. So, do you want to go first, mate, with showing us what you're working on? As I am being...
I can.
Because you're already a hive of industry, and I'm sitting here like a lazy sod, just puffing on my pipe.
Yeah, so far this evening in show prep, boys and girls.
Yep. Here we go. He's on.
We've put some filler on the bases of these, ready for some sand later. We've brought all of my little Flames of War trees up to make some sand and put some basing material on. Made a new batch of my basing material that's got my mortar in. And then I've just put another coat of Turbo Dork Miami Sunset on this sexy Miyazaki car.
I tell you what, you just had the perfect angle to pick up the orange. The orange is definitely coming through now. These color, we were talking, David was showing me this before we came live, and I do like these color shift metallics, but sometimes they don't come across very well on camera. and that does look very purple on camera, but I bet you it doesn't look anywhere near as purple in the flesh.
There's pinks and
Yeah.
oranges in it. It is quite a dark purple, but it's cool. Because this week we've mainly been bastardizing my painting competition and car of the month entry for Gaslands this month.
I tell you what, mate, they are looking absolutely amazing now that you've got all the parts put together and you're bringing them on. They look absolutely a fucking killer.
So we did this one as a prep for doing some weathering before we go and bastardize my competition entry.
Is that one still the one that you just had a minute ago? You're still able to tear that apart so that you can paint without getting the perspex. Okay, right, yeah. See, this is the difference between me doing it and David doing it. I would have just primed over all that perspex glass and then just fucking let it be black.
But it allows me to do
shit
like that.
Yeah.
And put a little driver in the seat.
Yeah, David
and put
definitely.
the wheels at a jaunty, drifty angle.
Fucking hell. So, yeah, he's definitely doing job plus on these. They are very good conversions, mate. So which one is for the Facebook group? The one we're looking at now on screen, the one that's just primed.
This is a Miyazaki 50 cam build with an experimental.
Isn't it Mishkin?
Engine. Mishkin, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, because I was just checking that because I don't know Gaslands as well as you. So yeah. I was
experimental nuclear reactor, ridiculous arc lightning projector on the turret. Wheel change. We're going to put some suspension in as well, just because we can, because it's baller.
Yeah, Darren.
And the plow is for looks.
You're not basing yours, are you, mate? You're just going to run the cars. No. Orinoco's asking about using like a clear acrylic. I'm assuming you mean Orinoco, clear acrylic basing. But yeah.
The amount of Gaslands cars I have, I would need an acrylic factory to keep me going. Oh. Yeah, cheese me. That's going to be the highway patrol one that's going to have LED lights because I'm going to put the lights in the little beacons at the top. So
that Necron weapon looks really good there. That's great conversion.
Well, so you gave me the backpack.
Yeah.
The back shoulder piece. Cut the pipe off the bottom and then moved it round.
Yeah.
I've used mount board to cover over the back deck and cut a little slot for it to go in as like a cooling line or a supply line.
Yeah.
Then this side is just fluorescent 1.6 millimeter strimmer line. And I'm going to use some of this for my nuclear fuel rods because I just think it's going to be easier than use that spray you gave me, Paul.
Because that's square.
So we've added some extra lines in. The plow is literally just glued onto the bottom and the wheels are just glued onto the side of the chassis.
Because a lot of your extras are 3D printed, aren't they?
Yes. No,
it's basically only the Necron gun I gave you on top. Everything else is printed, isn't it? Tires, RAM. Apparently, you need to paint it like the Mad Max police car. Cheese me says, which was yellow and black.
And then this was the Miyazaki build that we played with on Saturday. But more about that in a bit. It was quite a fun game, to say the least. And I played with it while it was just covered in grey primer.
Fun games.
It's in now.
Fun gamers, plural.
Spoilers.
So let me quickly. I'm basically still plodding on with this. So let me get my camera set up now and do a swap. So we want to go to content display. Paul, get rid of David. Fade between the two.
Oh, I see what you're up to.
So
I can move from my camera, can't I?
Yeah, you can, mate. We're doing these Frostgraves. So David 3D printed me these. I discussed them last week because that's what I was painting. We're going to crack on with these. These, I really literally only need 4 colours. I need the bone. There's some leather wrappings around these wooden stands. There is like a little offering bowl here and some mushrooms. That's it. 4 colours. Oh, and obviously, I suppose 5 with the wood for the main stakes, but they're largely painted. And it's going to be base colours, some sort of wash, probably either a Vallejo Dark Umber or Agrax, something like that. And then when they're dry, a bit of snow effect, and we are done. Because as I say, these are literally just scenario pieces for a Frostgrave game. So they're not going to get a huge amount of, because we do have, what did you give me, mate? 12 or 14 of these damn things to paint. We have got a lot
They've
of
been
them.
printed in sets of 4, so there were 12s.
Yeah. So we've got a lot to get through. We're not spending a shit ton of time on these. I think you have to have 7 plus an extra 2 per player above 2 in the scenario. So David's printed us tons of surplus and spares, but you know.
Well, there was 2 that failed, and we needed 9. So
In fact, I can show you the failures, because I mean, again, it just goes to show you guys, if you're into the ones and zeros shit, which frankly I'm not, don't give up on things just because they fail. So this is how it should have come out. Effectively, you've got this sort of ram's skull with the 2 horns. You've got this other skull, which is, I don't know, some sort of fucking cow or animal. I don't know quite what. And what happened?
It looks canine.
What happened on some of them is this second horn on the back part, on the back of this skull, it didn't print, mate, did it? It had a massive void in it.
No, this was the weird thing. So I supported the file, make sure it was all supported on a single, then reorientated 4 across the bed. 2 were fine, 2 failed. So I was like, right, went in and added some new supports and then printed another 8 out for Paul. But the principle being annoying.
So, and then with the 2 that failed, I had a couple of choices. I could have either, because you effectively had a void where the horn met the skull, and I thought I could try and infill it and then sculpt it with green stuff to actually make it match the texture or the shape of the horn. But then the more I thought about it, and I've got so many of them, I thought, fuck it, I won't bother. So I basically, there was a remnant of the horn attached to the stand here, so I literally just clipped it back, and then sanded it so it wasn't quite so flat. And where it had failed to print on the side of the skull, it looks just like the void that you would get where a horn does separate from a skull. So it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like perfectly usable. It's just the horn's only got one. The skull's only got one horn. It's like, yeah, fuck it, we'll roll with it. So we're going to paint them up just the same. And that's what I'm working on.
But I'm currently wrapping wire around an earbud stem and fucking hating it.
Darren, feel free to steal away, mate. That's the whole point of. I mean, as hobbyists, not, you know, that's why we share ideas, because we steal from others and others steal from us. So, you know, go for it. If you want any information, you're not a 3D printer, I know, but if you want any information about the file or anything like that, hit me up on Discord or whatever. We can let you know where David got it from, because to be honest, I'm not sure.
Asgard Rising, it's a freebie for one of the sets that they did.
There you go. So it's free.
Just for everybody's reference.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, you could literally scratch build something so similar, like you say, with plastic skulls from various kits and bloody kebab sticks. If you really want to simulate the leather wrappings that go round it, you could just get some paper, cut it into thin strips, and then glue it round, so it looks like leather wrap around the wood. There's loads of things you could do to scratch build something very similar.
Well, let's see how this works, shall we?
In fact, do you know what? Let's do a public service announcement. So, one of the things that obviously we're having a real renaissance in terrain that we're working on at the moment, and obviously I'm playing a lot of bolt action this year. So one of the things I wanted to do was get some barbed wire built. Now, I don't know if any of you guys in the chat or if any of you watching on YouTube are familiar, but in fact, do you know what? We could actually bring it up. Do you know what? Let's do this. The audio may go glitchy, people, because I know my PC doesn't like me using Chrome when we are running live, but do you know what? Tough shit. Here it is.
This is.
Right, I'm gonna use this website. Not because I particularly want to endorse this website. It's just that it's got quite a good big picture of what I want to talk about. So let's go here. Content display.
Where the fuck have my fucking tweezers gone?
I don't know where your fucking
That is a
tweezers
good
are.
question, David.
I mean,
where have your tweezers gone?
So, oh, what's this fucker now? We accept all cookies. Go away, overlay. So something that I have. Yes, do you know what? Something that I have owned for ages is this. I managed to get this. I think I got it dirt cheap, which is why I bought it. For those of you who don't know, this is a barbed wire kit from Pegasus Hobbies. Their stuff for me is like, it's, I don't know, about 60, 40, 70, 30, good versus not. Some of the things you buy from Pegasus Hobbies are great. I mean, I got like a resin cast pre-painted wizard tower. Is like one of the most lovely pieces of resin terrain I've ever bought. That's literally out of the box, put it on the table. It looks fantastic. We've got the Pegasus Hobby plastic river kit for the club. The painting isn't great. It does look like it was done like a 4-year-old by a 4-year-old, and the river texture is not the most realistic coloration in the world, but it's fucking bulletproof, and all of the sections locked together rock solid, so when it's put together, it ain't fucking going nowhere. So they do have some quite good products, and I took a punt on this barbed wire kit. Let me tell you now, don't. But
Major regrets?
not major regrets. The reason I wouldn't bother with this kit is it makes something that's actually ridiculously easy to hobby and craft and model actually bloody hard. So I just wouldn't bother. There are easier ways to do this shit. Shackhouse and Sprues is bang on the money. If you want to model barbed wire, you can get, I don't know, but Shackhouse calls it security wire, but basically you can get a wire core wrapped in other wire, and you can get it at various different thicknesses, and some of it looks a very good proxy for the way barbed wire would look. So because the wire's wrapped around another thread of wire, it's got that sort of like look of wire, barbed wire about it. And because it's wire, it is so fucking easy to shape, and it holds its shape. It's brilliant and bulletproof. What do they do the wire stuff, Paul, at Zatu?
Twat.
Yeah, Shakos is. That's the stuff. So buy that. Obviously, Paul Howells has there said this. Apparently, Zatu Games have got some stuff. I love Zatu as a site, so give them some business. Customer service is excellent. Price is pretty hard to beat. You might find the odd thing cheaper at places like Chaos Cards and that, but 8 times out of 10, you'll not find it cheaper than at Zatu. So, but let me give you a public service announcement. If you happen to be unlucky and have bought one of these, don't throw it in the bin, okay? It's not unusable. But let me tell you my learning, what I learned when I was fucking wrestling with the stupid thing, so that you can avoid my mistakes. Okay, so first of all, the wire itself comes on a flat sprue, so it's not coiled. It's essentially wound on a flat sprue, and it's got a series of fence posts in the middle. Okay, obviously I've cut my sprues up, so I can't show you, but these are the fence posts from the center of the sprue. In fact, let me go back to that website. Some of these places actually have a picture of the internal sprue. This one doesn't, but you can find videos on YouTube that show you what I mean if you wanted to go look. So the first job that you have to do is clip all of the wire off of the sprue. This stuff is ever so fucking fragile. Okay, now it's all on the sprue in one continuous, I don't know, something like 3 meter length wound in the entire thing. So you do get a stupid amount of plastic in it. But as you're cutting it off, it will snap if you look at it hard. So you need to make sure you're working on a good no working in your lap with it hanging off the edge of your chair, because it'll just break while you're kicking it off the sprue. You need to have a good open clear space, everything supported, and clip it off carefully. When you get it off, you've got two options with it. You can, as it shows on the picture of the box cover, you can run it as a straight wire through the fence posts. So just like a wire fence, it'll run through hooks in the uprights, which is fine. Or you can coil it up into barbed wire, as is shown in the picture. Both options are displayed in this picture, which is probably a little small, but trust me, both options are displayed there in that picture on the website. The only problem is, as soon as you wind this stuff round anything, a wooden dowel, pencil, I mean, what I used was one of these fat permanent black markers. Yeah, so I wound it round one of these. As soon as you wind it round here and let go of it, the whole thing just springs back into its original shape. Okay? So what I did was I wrapped it. I used sellotape to secure the ends so that basically the entire length of this pen was wrapped in this plastic barbed wire, with sellotape securing the ends so that the whole thing was snugly wrapped. Then just get a hairdryer on a good hot setting. You could probably use a heat gun, but don't be careful because you'll melt the pen and you'll melt the plastic. Hairdryer is probably a safer bet because it gets hot, but it doesn't get super hot. So just literally run the hairdryer over it until it gets sort of warm to the touch. When it cools down to room temperature and you push it off, lo and behold, it will hold its fucking shape. So that's the first thing. I mean, again, it doesn't look bad. When this is glued down on 4-inch sections, I've cut 4-inch. I've cut myself some 4x1 plastic card bases. When this is cut down and stuck to these with, I'm going to make basic X-frame supports out of hobby matches. It will look fine. And obviously it doesn't, it's now it's actually coiled round and it sort of supports it. When it's got wooden supports in it, it'll be perfectly strong enough to survive. So, as I say, if you have it, you can work with it, but it's going to be harder work than something like wire. So, as I say, just consider that a little bit of a public service announcement thing. Don't give up on it in your frustration. Just take care with it, and use a bit of heat, and it'll be, you know, you'll get there. You'll get there. So, that's that.
Having a fight with my kit.
Did you find your thing that you'd lost?
No, I can't find my tweezers. Shit.
I've got 2 pairs here. Wouldn't it be really cool? Wouldn't it be really cool if I could like pass you a pair of tweezers like off screen left, and you could just like
I've just gone fuck it and opened the precision bent nose pliers instead.
Oh, okay.
Maybe slightly overkill for what I'm currently doing, but I don't really fancy super gluing all of my fingers together.
Right, let's tell the boys and girls about our game.
I can't get my coils spaced smoothly.
What's that on? What do you mean, mate?
Come down to the desk cam and I'll show you.
Focus, god damn it. Yeah, go on. So what's that? Okay, you've coiling wire around something.
to make.
Oh, I know what you're doing. You're doing the suspension springs because you're fucking Captain Hard
Yeah.
mode. Okay, and look, I know you're an engineer, but I don't think it matters if the spacing on that wire is like to the nearest 200th of a millimeter.
Matters to me, Paul.
Mate, show everybody where it'll sit in the car when the car's reassembled. Just show everybody where. Don't. No. Right. Okay. So what we're talking about? Show them exactly what you're talking about. So you're talking about that, which is going to be behind that tire, buried probably half an inch into that fucking car, and you're worried about the wires being exactly equidistant. Yeah.
It matters to me.
You need to get a fucking grip. That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Well, I've got a grip now because I've got my bent nose pliers.
Oh my god. You see what I have to work with, people? Fucking hell.
You fucking asked for it, so don't start that.
Holy shit. Right. I'm surprised it doesn't trigger you that it doesn't actually work as a suspension strut.
No, I'm not quite that bad.
Yeah, Shakal says he can't get a grip. He's lost his tweezers. Actually, Orinoco's made a point. Really, what you should do, if you should actually be coiling the wire. You need more coils because you haven't really got enough. It doesn't look very realistic. I think he's ignoring us.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
What's he going to do?
I have risen to the bait. I need to find my plastic card stick. Right, fuck off, and I'll see you all later. Bye.
Oh my god. Right. Okay, so let's talk about what we did on Saturday then, mate. Let me just check.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Let me check.
That's a bit dark.
Yeah, I know. I can't fucking. I can't get my camera to fucking. I've messed with the settings, and it's not auto. It's not fucking adjusting the shutter and that for the lighting conditions. So everything's coming out super dark, and it's pissing me off. I think I've got some duplicate shots here. No, they're not duplicates. Yeah, there is. There's. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so basically we played technical difficulties, there has to be, Shakos, there has to be. We played Gaslands. So
we've had a bit of an impasse lately with Gaslands, haven't we? We've had a bit of a being-up on it because it always just seems to drag on and on and on, and the game never really properly ends in an exciting way for anyone, does it?
No, we always do the same thing at club. We always play Death Race, which, as Mike Hutchinson's player survey revealed, the vast majority of other people do the same thing. They just lazily pick Death Race and play Death Race every time. And we tend to do the same thing at the club. So we play Death Race and we play about 4 or 5 people in a game. And I need to. The thing is, Darren, it's just another thing to look at, and I never think about it when I'm quickly snapping pics. I suspect what I've done is when I was doing a shoot for miniature pictures on Tabletop in my light box, I've set my EV and shutter speed as manual to get the best pictures I could in my light box. And now I've got to put them back into auto so that I don't have to fuck about every time I want to take a quick picture on the run. Because when I'm doing that, they're just coming out looking like fucking Dracula's boudoir. So I know exactly what I've done. It's just I never think about doing it until it's like, oh shit, I've taken that picture and it's shit again. So bear with us. But we always do the same thing as everybody else, which is play Death Race with 4 people. It takes 3.5 hours and nobody ever wins the fucking race. It doesn't help, to be fair, that we've never really noticed that Death Race has an alternate win condition. Hands up if everybody knows what the alternate win condition is for Death Race in Gaslands. Because you could win the race by crossing the finish line. Or you could just win... Or you could just blow every other fucker off the table. Because if at the end of any gear phase there's only one player with an active car, they win the race. And it's over. So probably some of it is on us for these games that seem to go on forever without end. Because we've probably missed an opportunity to end the scenario effectively. So, mea culpa. No... Hello, Crispin. No, it's not a mudslide. It's a half-finished piece of terrain. Just explain what we're looking at, David.
So that is cork bark on the cliff face, filled with expanding foam, trimmed down to size, got wall filler over the back of it to give it a hard skin, and then it needs some sand applying to it. It's on the list. It's why I made a big batch of my basing sand up tonight, boys and girls. Just saying.
Cheesery says, Crispin has arrived. The bar has dropped. We can now all walk away safely. The trip hazard has gone. It is now embedded in the floor. Darren says, just like F1 with DNF. Unfortunately, I know nothing about motorsport, Darren, so that's gone over my head. But I imagine David knows what you're on about. I'm assuming is that sort of like a sudden death gag about F1? Something about crashes, is it?
There we go. Can you hear me, Paul?
Yeah, yes, I can, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. What were we saying? Because my microphone just had a fucking spasm.
I was just saying, Darren made a gag there, just like F1 with DNF, lol. Unfortunately, because I'm not into motorsport, that means shit all to me. But I imagine you are, so...
Did not finish.
Oh, okay. So that's like the equivalent of Gasland's sudden death mode in Death Race.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. So what did we do on Saturday night, David? We thought we'd remedy the situation.
We played some flag tag.
Yeah.
We played some Demolition Derby.
Well, it's called Arena of Death, isn't it? I think is the actual official name of the scenario.
And we played a death race.
Yes. So
didn't we?
We did. What we've never done in the past is rolled our scenarios randomly. If you look in the Gaslands rulebook towards the end, there's a scenario section. Mike's put tables in there, so you can, if you roll on the televised event table, which I think is the one we used, isn't it, mate? Is it televised event?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So if you roll on the televised event table, one or two, so 33% of the time you get Death Race. And then there are 4 other game format options. Arena of Death, Flag Tag. What else is there? Just give me a second.
My book's not to hand.
No, mine is. Don't worry. Just Capture the Flag is one, isn't it? Capture the Flag and Saturday Night Live. So... what we did was, I can't remember if we rolled the first one, but we basically decided we were just going to...
the first 2.
That's right, we did. And then we said, you know what, let's give Death Race a go. And, yeah, no, I'm just talking about the first... So there's a first table, which is televised events. Then there's a thing called, I think it's called the Scavenger Campaign. Something like that. There's a second table. Now, the stuff on the second table, or it might even be 3 tables, the stuff on the later tables, the scenarios get very weird. Like the guys are saying in chat, there's one scenario where you can only take helicopters. There's one scenario where you can only take tanks. So it very much is trying to create some weird schizophrenic game experience that's unique. One of them, you've got to literally kill zombies, like, what's that bloody Cool Mini or Not game? Zombicide. So like Zombicide with cars. So there are some absolutely left field weird options. But even in that first table, the televised event table, those other events are there. And I tell you what, we played 3 games in what, 3 hours?
3 hours?
Less?
Yeah, something like that. 3 and 3.
And it was amazing. Best Gaslands I've played in pretty much ever, I think. When we played random scenarios, or when we started playing, and just to be clear, we had the same lists. I had a 2-car Maxine list. David was running his 1-car Mishkin. No, you were doing Miyazaki. 1-car Miyazaki list. So we had the same lists in all 3 scenarios. And if you play Gaslands, please do this. Because
for fuck's sake.
When you play these other game formats, it unlocks so much of when you're building if you play Death Race all of the time, when you're looking to build your lists of your army list of cars with upgrades and perks and all that stuff, you look at things and there are just things, well, that's just better than everything else. That's just better than everything else. That's just better. In Death Race, it might be. But if you've got to build a list and you build it for Death Race, and then your friend says, oh, tonight we're playing Flag Tag, or tonight we're playing Arena of Death, first one to die loses. It's sort of like suddenly your super maneuverable, lightly armoured performance car is like, okay, this isn't very good then. So for me, it was just like an absolute epiphany of Gaslands. So much more of the content of the rulebook makes sense. So much more of how to build lists makes sense in the sense that you can't just, if you stack a car with the perks to do one trick, and then somebody rolls a game where that trick is utterly fucking irrelevant, that car does nothing. This is the other thing, Darren, definitely. If you some of the vehicle types with high handling, super fast, they can get so far ahead of the pack that you can't even attack them. So it doesn't matter that they're squishy and vulnerable. I think Gaslands has got this built into it. It's one of them things where you rack it up. If somebody's got like a speed freak list and you roll Death Race and they're like, okay, I win turn 3 or I win in 20 minutes. That's fine. We roll another scenario. Let's go again. And it's like, let's see how you do with Flag Tag, or let's see how you do with Arena of Death. Because, I mean, some of the... let's take Flag Tag as an example. In the end, David managed to win it because he played the scenario better. But I thought going into it, I've got 2 cards and David's got 1. Now, in Flag Tag, the idea is basically you place a spawn point that generates a capturable flag, and your opponent, the first person to capture 3 of these flags wins. So David's 1 car basically has to go to my flag and take
deployment zone.
It has to go to my deployment zone and take my flag, leaving his completely undefended because he's only got 1 car. I've got a 2-car list, so I can have a defender car and an attacker car. Immediate advantage. And it's like Darren says, if a builds would have certain advantages in certain scenarios, but when the scenario type is random, that all comes out in the wash. As I say, some of the best Gaslands we've played.
My Miyazaki car was absolutely racked to high heaven with perks, and that was kind of to my detriment.
I mean, I'll be honest. I think you won Flag Tag because you played very smart. So I think this is the layout for Flag Tag. For those who haven't played, one of the things in Flag Tag, you place a spawn point that basically
this was Flag Tag and Arena of Death.
Oh, we used the same layout for both. So when you place a spawn point, and then you get to place your flags within short, I think of it as of that spawn point.
Medium of it and more than medium from an edge.
Okay, so they pop as they get captured. They pop back out of your spawn point. So what David did was he effectively sat by my spawn point and then just kept spinning round and going round to hoover up 3 flags, because you have to keep popping them out. But what
Your
it
spawn
doesn't,
was in the bottom right of this picture,
yeah,
wasn't it? Behind the
mine
yellow
was
container.
mine was in a relatively open area. So when I was
Mine was in the middle left by that jump and that lime green container, which immediately gave me a little bit more of a castle. Because again, I had sentry guns, didn't I? So I dropped a load of sentry guns on the way in,
yeah.
or on the way out to
But
yours.
the thing that really screwed me up was there's nothing in the scenario that says that you cannot place flags or spawn points literally right up against terrain. So what David did was place his spawn point sort of like literally in these containers, literally almost touching them, on the, as you're looking at it, on the left hand side of the screen, and every time he popped his flags out, he would just put them on the other side of the containers,
The other side
almost touching the container. And the problem with that is you don't have the maneuverability of Gaslands to, like, if you want, you can't just pull forward half an inch to pick up a flag and then drive off. You have to go a full template.
Unless you're Miyazaki with Power Slide and Handbrake Artist.
Well, even
You
then,
basically just pick a hairpin, spin at the end of it, face where you want, short, straight, and I'm done.
Yeah, but even then, if you can't place your hairpin without hitting, you've got to move along the hairpin. You can't just move an inch along the hairpin. Your placement has to be pixel perfect, and it's not possible. You can't play Gaslands with that level of resolution. Even a superb player, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I think we spotted straight away that this particular scenario needs a house rule, where you say you don't place spawn points within short of terrain, you don't place flags within short of terrain. You have to have a bit of standoff so that your opponent has a chance to actually, because for a start, even hitting the flag counts as a collision. So that's potentially damaging your car, giving you hazards. If you've got to hit a flag and then smash into a container straight behind it, that's like 4 hazards and 2 collisions. It's like, it's not viable. And as I say, David just played a superb game, and it made it impossible for me to pick up. Even with 2 cars, I couldn't pick up his flags as quickly as he could hoover up mine.
You got in the way of yourself in the bottom center of this picture with your 2 cars.
Well, the problem is,
and then you realised at the end of the game that you'd had one-on-one hull point for so long. You should have just driven into a container.
Yeah,
written it off to have distracted me.
What I should have done was not taken my defend car away from the my home base. I should have literally just driven around those containers in a loop, waiting and lurking, keeping active in the gear save phases till David came to fight me. What I did was I tried to get a bit clever and aggressive and hunt him off my objective, then ended up crashing and dropping out of the gear phases so David could keep going, and I was left there fucking sucking my thumb. So I didn't play a particularly good scenario. Definitely, Dave definitely deserved to win. But the death race, because I had 2 cars versus 1, I was able to put out way more damage than him, because I had a flamer and a machine gun and 2 hand weapons, didn't I, mate? I was
sent turret.
Yeah, so I had a turret machine gun, a flamer. Oh no, yeah, I had a front mounted machine gun as well. So I had basically sort of like, I could effectively fire 4 weapons anyway, because I got 2 crew in each buggy. I could fire 4 weapons to his single weapon attack, and I didn't need to win the race because I just blew his car to bits, because the buggies were just fast enough to keep up with him, particularly in the lower gears.
And your fire really hurted.
Yeah, flamers are very strong in Gaslands, but it was a great game. Really enjoyed it a lot. Just let me check this. Let me see if I didn't get. I don't know if that's your phone, mate.
Is my phone. I need to put it on mute in a minute.
Just bear with me, because we've also got some pickies from my game on Monday night. Let me just load them up.
Can you stop? Stop it. This is really the period where I need tweezers, and I don't fucking have them on me. That's not in the right place.
Just bear with me, everybody. Just trying to
Don't you
add
be
these fucking files to this slideshow. Why is this not? I'm sure I added these fucking files to this slideshow earlier. That looks healthier. Okay. Now we've got 8 pictures in the slideshow, not fucking 3.
No.
Okay, so
Now my Mac.
that was Saturday night and Gaslands. On Monday night, Ricky and I played Bolt Action, 2nd edition. Obviously, 3rd edition's on the horizon. Ewok says, I don't know what you mean about this not being very PC. Is that something to do with spawn points? Does that mean something to your American ears, Crispin? Imagine being in a ragtag race crew following the race calendar from town to town, scavenging ports, recruiting members, and picking up odd jobs, missions, and contacts. Yeah, a campaign mode would probably be pretty cool. I mean, there is a sort of campaign mode. I don't think it's as involved as what you said, Ewok. But I think Mike said that he's going to make Gasland's development a priority now. One of the things I would definitely like to see is a separation in the campaign of cars and drivers. So cars can get upgrades and drivers can get skills, and then you can mix and match. That I think would be very good. Jerry interviewed at Salute that produced a similar car game. Ooh, he did, didn't he? That's a good shout. I can't remember what that's called. Talking of car games, Car Wars. Is it Car Wars? That's just by Steve Jackson Games. Has just had its 8th edition released or something fucking stupid. That game's still going from, I don't know, when I was a kid. It's fucking crazy old. It's like 40 years old, that game. They were talking about buying new tweezers. So yeah, Bolt Action. Now, Ricky likes the SAS, and he's got an SAS list, but he struggles to play it. Do you know what, Ewok? I'm not going to argue with you. I thought, I know what I'll do for nostalgia. I'll watch Guerrilla Miniature Games playing Car Wars. Normally, Ash is the most enthusiastic person in the world, and he can sell anything. But fuck me, did that game look like a complete chore and a pain in the arse to play. I was not taken with it at all. I don't know whether we've been spoiled by Gaslands. I'd rather play fucking... Do you remember the old battle cars with the fucking cardboard counters? I'd rather play that, I think, than fucking Car Wars. It looked absolutely awful. Still, getting back to Bolt Action. So I said to Ricky, look, next time we play Bolt Action, I will run your SAS and I'll play your Germans. So we'll do like a late war, Western Europe, Europe type feel game, SAS, British SAS versus Germans. So yeah, fine. I lost. The SAS are extremely difficult to play. I don't know if anybody, even though it was basically highly veteran and elite German army versus highly veteran and elite, ridiculously veteran and elite British army. Oh my God, it's so hard to win with the SAS. Your squads are so small. You've really struggled to, because what you ideally want to do is whittle squads down to next to nothing and then charge in and finish them off in combat. But, oh my God, it's so fucking difficult. The only thing I will say is the scenario we played was, I can't remember, I think it's called Demolitions. And it's the scenario where you both have a base. So we picked like a small terrain feature that was about 4 inches by 6 or 4 inches by 3, something like that. And then we sort of like said, well, that's our base. And the winner basically just has to have a unit in base contact with the enemy base by the end of the turn to win. So you had to. It's the first sort of bolt action scenario where there's been a real division of labor. You like, well, I have to defend this, but I must attack that, and the game can end at any point. So there's always a tenseness. You're not like it can only end on turn 6. As soon as somebody pulls the win off, that's it. And it was one of the best bolt action scenarios I've ever played. As I said, I really, really, really enjoyed the scenario. I enjoyed the push and pull. I feel that I did a pretty good job of defending my base, but I couldn't, because of the nature of the SAS and the small squads. Ricky basically just put all of his German infantry, so I had like 30 odd here, a veteran here surrounding this building that I'd got to clear, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get his models down and get rid of them. And then he did a perfectly timed. He had he had a unit of here in a half track, a Hanomag half track, and he basically held off my base. He held off my base until turn 6 or 5, I think it was. And he just sprung his trap at the end of the turn, literally waited till it was like he'd got the perfect situation, last dice out of the bag, or last 2 dice out of the bag. He moved up the Hanomag, poured out the troops, assaulted my base, won the close combat, wiped me out, and he was holding it at the end of the turn, and it was a win. Fucking great scenario. Absolutely loved it. And I enjoyed, hard though they are, I did enjoy playing the SAS. What did you do at club, mate?
I played some Flames of War.
Yeah, so it was a World War II fest.
Played 100 points of my American Battle of the Bulge list versus Alex's 100 points of, I think it's D-Day Germans. We played the Bridgehead mission, where basically there is an attacker and a defender. The defender is in the village, gets some minefields for every 25 points that they bring, and then the attacker just comes on basically in a U-shape around the majority of the table, and it's capture 2 objectives and win. Let's just say my mine placement on the road slowed down Alex just enough to be annoying, and then pinned him in the open in front of my Pershings that did really well this game. It's the first game that they've done exceptionally well, because usually they last all of 5 minutes and fall over. This game, because they sat in the middle of the village just taking opportunity shots as targets presented themselves, they were far better.
Did the Panzers not quite have the ammo power, the armor piercing power to take them out?
Panzers could not really touch.
Because I've faced off against them a couple of times. The Tigers do okay, don't they? It's a fairly even match, I feel. Your Pershings and my Tigers are fairly even matched on it. And then it comes down to who can get the best line, who can get that first shot off and get good dice. It's a real knife edge thing. You did sort of try to explain on Monday night at McDonald's, but you said about the minefields that Alex had to clear them. Was that like a rule in the scenario where you have to use...
Yeah, so if you're within 2 inches, then you've either got a vehicle with like a flail on it that's obviously designed for the task, or an infantry unit. They have to walk into the minefield the turn before, possibly taking damage. Then the turn after, they can clear it. To clear your pathway through for your vehicles. The other thing we played with was night fighting, which was pretty cool to trial. The only thing I'm not sure about is the fact that usually you roll every unit's vision individually,
said about this.
And that seems fucking horrible for me.
Yeah,
I would much rather do it.
The bookkeeping on that, rolling each unit's visibility distance individually, seems retarded. I can't even entertain the idea of that. And again, it makes, I don't know, what do you guys think? So like, I get why there would be a random visual distance in a night fighting mode, because what's the cloud cover like? What phase is the moon in? You know, how much light, where are we? How much light pollution is there bleeding into the sky? Are we near a town? I mean, I get why that would be variable. There's lots of variables at play. But why would this unit and that unit 400 yards away have different visibilities?
Unless there's a fog bank.
Yeah, again, don't understand. Makes no sense. So yeah, I can imagine. I can totally see why you went around that. And I'm assuming that it still made it was still a worthwhile rule to add.
It was still an enjoyable rule to add. Again, the variability on when dawn broke was quite cool as well.
Yeah, the fact that it gets more likely as you progress the game.
So yeah.
I mean, there we go. If there's a moral in that story, it's don't just play the same scenarios. Explore the games you've got.
It kind of brings us on to tonight's topic.
It does actually.
Before that, we've got the news.
Yeah, so let's
do
the news. The new, because there is only one.
The new singular.
Yeah, the new singular. So let me go here. David pinged me this link. Now, I think Humble Bundle are amazing. I don't know about you guys, but I have bought some great shit on Humble Bundle. I bought sort of like groups of GW novel ebooks at knockdown prices because I'm not paying full price. They can fuck off. And I often see some great packages on there. Now this is Fallout role playing assets, mate.
Wasteland Warfare. Wasteland fucking Warfare assets.
Hang on a minute. So it's not role playing. It's actual miniatures wargaming shit. What?
Yeah. No, I didn't break and get the Fallout sale Shakos because as much as I like the starter kit, I don't want to do Super Mutants versus the others. It's Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Look, there you go. Fallout Wasteland Warfare campaign book PDF. Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Fallout Wasteland Warfare RPG style.
Oh no, it's a mixture. So these are for the RPG. I see. So you've got
Fallout Wasteland Warfare RPG: The Unexpected Shepherd Part 1 PDF campaign book.
Yeah, but this is for the role playing game, isn't it? This is for the RPG expansion.
No, because the Fallout RPG is completely different.
Is this the actual miniatures game then? Fucking nuts, man.
What we're looking at there, Fallout Wasteland Warfare expansion book.
I don't know if any of you guys play Wasteland Warfare. Is this all for the miniatures game, or is this a mixture of miniatures game and a different game, or what?
I got that bundle. It's amazing value. It's cheaper than the Vertibird STL on its own.
Yeah, that's what you were saying, was it? Like you're basically getting 100 quids of value.
Odd. Yeah.
Who got that?
Fallout Wasteland Warfare RPG expansion book PDF is usually 12 quid on its own. Delve into abandoned vaults, ruined cities, strange facilities, and antiquated military bases. Encounter super mutants, raiders, survivors, vault dwellers, the Brotherhood of Steel, the Institute, and the Enclave, alongside many more. Will you roam wide and far or build up and protect your settlement? For those who want to create your own unique characters or use the faction-based archetype cards to start your own hero and see them grow from adventure to adventure. Complete rules for tabletop role-playing in the Wasteland based on the popular Fallout Wasteland Warfare miniatures game. Full rules for character creation. So yeah, that particular one is a RPG one.
Yeah, because I thought I'd seen and I thought I'd seen the role-playing game because I think Ash Barker did the role-playing game review as well. because I remember him going into like the character generation and that sort of shit. So what were you saying about? Is it the 2-player starter set for Wasteland Warfare that you're not keen on?
Yeah, I'm not keen on it.
So how are you going to approach your Wasteland Warfare journey then? Are you going to buy? Can you buy faction boxes? Because to be fair, I haven't
Yes,
really looked at it.
you can buy faction boxes.
Okay, is it worth me
So
getting the 2-player starter set? As it's something you're not going to get.
I'm not sure. I mean, the star 2-player star set is 45.56. It comes with
Where is it? Is
3
it on
super.
Modifius's website discounted now?
Yeah, it's on Modifius's website, 45.56.
We will do a main topic.
Pre-order at the moment, and it'll ship in June because they've run out. 32 mil. You can do player purses.
I wonder why
player
they've run
co-op,
out.
co-op
Do you think they're
solar.
selling quite a lot of them?
Yeah, and there's 13 miniatures here. So you've got 3 super mutants, 2 super mutant hounds, soul survivor dog meat, enslaved tech survivor, 2 settlers, 1 male and female, 1 brotherhood of steel aspirant and T60 power armor, an alien Z-Tan, 1 Deathclaw, and 13 scenic faces affixed to the model. Over 120 cards, 10 unique, 10 custom dice, 20 scenarios, 5 of which are training, following survivors and super mutants, 5 tournament, 5 AI, and 5 narrative. 2 die cut counter sheets, 1 complete rulebook. It's not just a starter rulebook, and 1 ways to playbook, including the settlement, AI, and campaign rules, and a 3 foot by 3 foot 2-part paper gaming mat. But I don't know where I would start otherwise. I think I'd have to get the dice at 10 quid.
See, I wouldn't mind these minis. Can you buy all of the? Presumably, you can buy all of the gaming assets separately.
Yeah, so there's like a Survivors Boston's companion box that's got 3 minis for 16 quid. You've got
No, I meant
Deathcore
things like
Matriarch.
I meant like your assets, like your dice and templates. Presumably,
Yeah, I could buy
uses
the
them.
dice. Yeah, I'm just not sure on the rule book.
What, whether you can get that separately? Well, don't you have it in your
Yeah.
PDF bundle? Isn't it included in that?
There's Capital Rules expansion there.
Problem with doing this is I can't see what the chat's saying.
The starter set minis are PVC though.
Oh right, okay. And what are they in the faction boxes? They're what? Plastic sprues,
Yeah.
Shakos. Like hard plastic.
Yeah, I don't know that you can get the Wasteland Warfare rules on their own, which is irritating.
Huh. Yeah. That's a bit of a marketing oversight, gang.
Unless I'm much mistaken. Rulebooks are on Humble Bundle. I think part of the PDF cards are too. Right, so basically, buy the Humble Bundle is what I'm hearing from Shakos here.
Oh, most of
Have
the faction
fun with
boxes
it,
are
and
resin.
then decide.
Most of the faction boxes are resins, apparently. I must confess, we did play this at UKGE, and I did enjoy the game a lot. I very much like the idea of the campaign play. I'm not sure that we're... Again, it's one of those things that I love the idea of it. I wonder how much of it we'd actually play, which is a shame. And I do like the idea of, like, all the different fucking cards for equipment and upgrades and shit. Just endless amounts of variety.
That hasn't worked how I thought it was.
What's that?
Which is annoying.
Oh, your your suspension things.
No, I'll put contrast on the inside of the windows to see if that would work, and it didn't work.
Oh, okay. What effect are we looking for? Like a grime?
Like a tint.
Oh, okay.
Tinted windows without having to paint the outside of the windows. I wanted to paint the inside and just be done with it.
I mean, I don't know if it's of interest to you, but I have the Vallejo smoke effect that you designed for airbrushing onto clear acrylic for like smoke damage.
No, it's all right.
But obviously, it's going to tint them with that brown stained look.
I'll fix it by applying some black grey to the inside of the window.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Shakos. At the end of the day, it's just good value. I don't think Fallout Wasteland Warfare will ever be one of my top games. It wouldn't ever be one of my, like, I'm an advocate, I'm going to get myself sorted. But David's obviously got a massive thing for it.
Fallout,
so it would be rude as his sort of like, you know, as his friend to just say, oh, well, I'm not fucking bothering with that. And it's like you say, it just seems a great thing for me to pick up because it's such stupid value. And it gives me everything I need to just get started.
I'll tell you the other problem. I'm trying to paint onto gloss plastic and it's not working.
That's not an insignificant. Need your airbrush for that, mate. Painting on gloss plastic. Brushes will just smear and be shitty.
Yeah, no, I've discovered this now.
Yeah, so even at £8 postage, it's a reasonable deal. Look, we're 10 minutes late. Should we go to main topic of click, clack, clock?
What the fuck is up with my... You know what? Fuck off.
Somebody's far too popular. Fucking listen to that.
It's all of the fucking 3D printing discords I'm in.
Oh, is it not your OnlyFans page going live?
No, it isn't my OnlyFans page going live. I'm not stripping right now. Wouldn't want to give you another coronary.
He's naked from the waist down and he's got a sort of webcam fixed to the bottom of his desk, just in case anybody's wondering. If you want to live stream it, I'll put the URL in the video description.
You know you're going to get slapped one of these days. If not from me, from my other half. Just saying. Actually, that's a point. Dicini. We're just over a week away from that. I know we need to get into the main topic. But looking forward to it. And we will probably be doing a prelude show next week, won't we, sir?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, so just a heads up to everybody. Dicini is on Sunday the 5th of May in Norwich. If you're not a million miles away, pop down and have a visit. Norwich has got plenty of parking, plenty of food. You are slap bang in the town centre. So if you want to take a stretch your legs from the venue, there's loads to go and watch, wander around and have a look. But it's a great small show. It's, for me, it's what Salute isn't, which is you've only got 6 hours, but that's fine because you can see everything in 6 hours. You can play every demo game pretty much in 6 hours. You can take part in a couple of
lying bastard.
Well, I think if you're super organised,
we didn't play every game last year, did we? You lying bastard.
We did every demo game. I think you'll find. So the only thing we didn't.
Go on, no, we didn't, because we didn't do the one in the back room that you wanted to do, which was like the Cthulhu horror one. Oh, that's
true. Fuck, we didn't. Yeah, the RPG one. Yeah, no, you're right.
Right, so fuck you. I'm right. We're done here. Let's go to the main topic.
That's me, Toad. But yeah. So yeah, if you can, pop down. But we'll talk about it more next week. And we'll tell you exactly what's on there if they put a nice little floor plan up. So, starter scenarios. Baby's first game with a particular rule set. So what put us onto this one, mate? What got us down this little rabbit hole? I can't even remember how this conversation started.
We were talking about scenarios and stuff last night.
Yeah.
And I think I brought up how we introduce new players to games. And how, like, for example, Frostgrave, whenever I play a game of Frostgrave, for somebody that's brand new, there's no recommended scenarios in the book. So that's a bit of an oversight.
There's no scenario recommended for the first game, is there, mate? There's just like, in the second edition rulebook, you just get 20 scenarios. It does, in fairness, say the second 10 are a little bit more complex, but that's about it, isn't it? There's no other guidance.
Yeah. And the point here being, Frostgrave is a co-op game. It's full of getting shanked and fucked over by the environment. So I tend to say, right, you're a new player. We're playing the giant worm hunt. You're going to get absolutely nailed by a giant worm, but it could be you, or it could be the level 25 wizard. Let's see what happens. Main reason being, it's got a fair few keywords that matter. It's not immune to magic damage, so even level 1 warbands can do shit to it, and it can affect any and all players, not exclusively one specific area or scenario, because it's rolled randomly.
Yeah, and I think you said last night that one aspect of the worm is it tends to provoke or promote that cooperative play element, because with the rampaging worm, everybody's focus is off kicking the shit out of each other, which is good for a new player because in effect they can work with the others against the game, sort of thing. The scenario writes it promotes that mode of play, doesn't it? That particular scenario. Darren says here, Dead Zone has this one won. The end. Lol. Now, unfortunately, Darren, I don't have the 3rd edition Dead Zone. I only have the 2nd edition. But
do you want to know the best thing?
Go on.
If you bothered to use the link I gave you, you do have 3rd edition.
Oh, and your Mantic account. I know, mate. I'm just having a look here. I don't know if the 2nd edition one. So basically, let's start with what because David's just given a great sales pitch for the worm hunt as a good starting scenario for Frostgrave, which doesn't have one built into the rulebook.
No.
But what he has done is he set out the stall for there are some aspects to a starter scenario that all starter scenarios should have, I think. And what I think let's start going through. So one of the things that starter scenarios should have is that I think they should have a whatever the win condition is, it needs to be simple enough that people can focus on the primary job of the starter scenario, which is to learn the core mechanics. So one example of a game that I think is probably one of the worst examples for this, and funnily enough, as we were talking about this last night, I did a quick search on the internet. Malifaux. Now, Malifaux is an extremely complex game in terms of its scoring. You have strategies and schemes, so you have think of them as primaries and secondaries. You've got a primary win condition and secondaries. In the secondaries, you choose three. You choose 3 from a randomly generated pool of 5. And honestly, for a first-time player, that's preposterous to ask them to do that. Because to choose the best 3 for your warband from the 5, you need to understand how your opponent's warband functions, how your own warband functions. Do you know what I mean? You need so much knowledge and experience to make intelligent and clever choices there. It's redundant. It's utterly redundant in a starting scenario. But Malifaux 3rd edition has no starting scenario anywhere in the rulebook. There isn't one downloadable online. I found a load of people talking in Reddit groups. You've got experienced players who've created ones or made suggestions on how to turn the sort of because this is the other thing, all Malifaux scenarios are generated at random through either card flips or you can even use their app to just generate the features of the deployment, the strategies, the schemes, just generated at random. And Night Cheese Me, and as I say, that is an immediate fail for me, because the players have so much to worry about in their first game with all of the rules on the cards for their miniatures. To give them that layer of complexity on top of that, no, no, there's no way. So you're immediately asking for people to be overwhelmed and sort of like, oh, I'm not sure if this game's for me. And I don't. Even if you're an experienced wargamer, I still think there's an element of there's a lot of people would find that too much. What else would you say there's as an important feature of a starting scenario or a first timer scenario, mate?
I think it should get you used to how the game systems and models function and how that may be different to other war games you have played in the past, so that you understand what's doing. So again, as you say, simply, I know Malifaux is probably a bad example
It's
because
the worst one I can
techy.
think of. Yeah.
But the principle being, Malifaux being a bad example, you should have just a simple scenario of, for example, killing each other, as is prevalent in the 40k new edition, etc., and that kind of thing. As this is the starting point, this is the jumping off point. Learn your army, learn your rules, and then we'll add you some more scenarios after.
Yeah.
But we've had a bad experience of a kill point scenario recently, which is Flames of War.
I mean, when on before you go into Flames of War, on the face of it, making the objective simply remove the enemy's models isn't a bad thing. And I think that I know that probably 8 out of 10 miniature war games out there, that will be, whether it's
the default,
that will be the default play mode. I mean, a great example, if you download the free PDF rule set for 10th edition 40k off the Games Workshop website, instead of going into the whole, it's assuming you've only got that PDF and a few models. There is a scenario stuck to the end of it. It's really simple. Deploy, kick the shit out of each other. Person who kills the most models wins. Yay! Okay. It's fine. For most games, it's absolutely fine. But here is a story of where it can go wrong. Over to you.
Flames of War relies on you knowing a little bit about your army and what are referred to as formations and how you build your army, or how your opponent has built their army, because you either have a scenario on the face of it that is like, oh, you can win by killing everything, or to speed it up, you can just kill your opponent's formation.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the word is break in the game, isn't it? You break a formation.
So what's a formation? It can be any number of models that are pulled together to build that specific list. So, for example, my formation for my Battle of the Bulge list is a 3-man HQ squad in Shermans, a Jumbo, and 2 Easy 8s. I've got 2 Easy 8s for support. All of those have 76mm main guns. I have 3 Sherman Calliopes, which are the Shermans with the rocket-propelled launchers on the top, and 4 M24 Chaffies, which are the little tanks that could. That is my main formation, and then I have in support my infantry squad of 7 bases. I have a Greyhound squad, which is 2 Greyhound cars and 2 Jeeps as support, and the 2 Pershings as support as well. So because of that, Paul can break my Pershings, Paul can make them all fuck off, Paul can make my Jeeps disappear, Paul can make my infantry disappear. But because he hasn't broken the core of my formation, which is the armor, he wouldn't win the game. And similarly, Paul has a similar build his side. The issue here is they don't caveat it with, after 7 turns, the game ends. Score at what you've killed, and that's a minor victory because you didn't break a formation in that time period. It will slog on to the death until you stumble into a formation breaking.
Yeah, exactly.
If you play rules as written in the book.
And that's exactly what happened to us, wasn't it? We played our first game, And we're
Yeah.
experienced wargamers, but we got so fucking focused in on the nitty gritty of target selection and movement and how does close combat work and how does indirect fire work and how do all these weapons work, that even we as experienced gamers lost sight of the fact that we actually need to work to end this game at some point. And again, don't put that in front of your players. Just let them focus on that shit,
Particularly
which is
not
really
as an
important.
intro scenario.
Because this comes to one of my other comments about starter scenarios. Please, for God's sake, when you're designing your starter scenario, give some sort of reward for small gains in it, okay? Having an all or nothing win con where you either win or you lose and it happens quite suddenly, I don't think is very good. What you want is your learner player to slowly feel like they're getting stuff done, like they're achieving things in little steps, okay? So I don't know. I imagine you agree, mate. But one of the things that frustrates me about when I play a game for the first time is like I get to an hour in and I don't feel like I've achieved anything, and it's just like
Yeah.
immediately I'm starting to think this is
Or
boring. You
here's
know?
something we said pre-show. We bitched and been moaned about it before, and if you scroll back far enough through the back catalogue, it's popped up 2 or 3 times now on how to run a demo game, how not to run a demo game. Xeogenesis, we're looking at you. The fact that it wasn't explained that one faction was shooty, one faction was close combat. The fact that it was never even mentioned that Paul had a close combat weapon on his mech. So he'd probably be better using the terrain to his advantage and closing the distance, is egregious at the best of times, let alone when you're trying to sell a product.
Yeah.
And that's not us kicking the shit out of the game, it's us kicking the shit out of the demonstration.
Yeah.
Because the game itself wasn't that bad. It was quite a good, fun little game.
I mean, at exactly the same UK Games Expo, where let's give the guys of who were of
Ironclad.
No, I was going to go with
Margrave.
Three Sales Studios.
Yeah, Three Sales Studios. Unfortunately, Margrave got canned, so
they had an absolutely brilliant demonstration game for their game Margrave. Now, Margrave is a large format blocked unit rank and flank game with loads of detail, like you get progression points to upgrade your units during the battle, which I think is a great little feature, by the way, and a unique one. But you could tell the guys had thought about it. This is not something that you're going to be able to engage people with. To be fair, Paul, you do. But to be fair, do you know what? We'll come to your game in a minute, because the thing is, your game, it's actually part of the actual core experience. The game is so punchy. The demonstration experience is ideal for trench offensive, because the game is so punchy. Your demo game can be a full game. It's such a good, fast little system. But the guys at Three Sales realised this will not make a demonstration game for Margrave. So what did they do? They created a scenario that's sort of like 2 minutes to midnight, just ahead of the end of the game, put the players in that position and let them play out the last 10, 15 minutes. Okay?
No, I didn't, Chris.
Bloody genius.
Have to afterwards.
Absolute genius. Oh, and Paul, while you're here, David needs to message you. He's forgotten several times. If he doesn't email you tomorrow, email him or message him and start nagging him.
Do it. Just give me opportunity.
So, yeah. Give your, for Christ's sake, in a starter game, starter scenario, there needs to be payoffs for progress. There needs to be
then
progress.
you have games that don't rely on a scenario for their playing, and you can't really whittle them down anymore without changing the game.
Yes.
So Blood Bowl and Underworlds are prime examples of this from GW.
A lot
Underworlds,
of these games that skirt the board game versus war game mode.
Yeah.
This could apply to a lot of these games, couldn't it, mate?
Yeah, you can't really thin your objectives. You can't really thin your powers and ploys because you're going to change it. They're subject to a meta of sorts. Because it's like I even suggested to Paul, use sevens as an intro game rather than normal Blood Bowl. But you can't even do that because you've got to change the pitch. You've got to change your team builds. It's not just a simple.
Yeah, you don't want to be asking new players to do that.
No. God Tier has a demo scenario, and this is one of these miniature war game, board game crossovers.
Is it actually a specific demo scenario, or do they just say, well, this scenario one is the best one?
This is the best scenario for you to start with.
Yeah.
To get to grips with it, with how the chaos things have fallen for placing your banners and that kind of thing, and then your more advanced scenarios have them more split up across the map for when you've got 2 or 3 champions. And again, they do recommend for your starter scenario, play 1 champion versus 1 champion. Don't try and complicate things and get synergies.
That's
Paul, because I want to email you before Dicini and talk to you, so I will email you tomorrow.
Yeah, I totally get it, Chakos. I mean, what is it for us? It's just over an hour and 20.
It's an hour and 30 of traffic shit.
Yeah, so it's not too bad for us, mate. But yeah, 3 hours each way, that's probably a big ask for you. You might want to look at Hereward later in the year, Peterborough. I don't know if that's better road access for you, because obviously that's on the A1 corridor.
Shakos is Derbyshire way, isn't it?
Yeah, so you might want to look at Peterborough. That'd be better for you.
Hereward or Partisan, because there's Partisan coming
Partisan
up
at Newark might be better for you as well. Partisan's 19th of May at Newark. Yeah, well, do you know what? As we build up to a UKGE, anybody who's our regulars, we'll have to have a meetup, guys, if any of you are going. So we'll make a plan near the time, and we'll sort out some sort of contact. Either you guys can email me if you're not on OTT, or DM me on the OTT, and we'll sort out a meetup for a bevy and a bit of a laugh. So Shakos has done Partisan. He's put on a demo game. Excellent job, man. Let's cover one before we move on to what game designers can do about this. Let's just cover one other thing. One other thing I think you should always endeavour to do with your starting scenario is please, please, please do not make it specific miniatures. It's a very good idea to make the scenario work for a stripped down force size. So, like, for example, David was talking about God Tier. Let's make a scenario that still really works when you've only got 1 master each and a few support miniatures, and it doesn't, the game still works and it's still a game, and there's still some interactive elements and a bit of fun. But don't write the scenario where, this only really works if you take 3 of these and 3 of these and they fight each other. And if you take a load of other stuff, it's not going to work. Because again, this is somebody's first game. If you're selling a game to somebody because they're absolutely passionate about Faction X, or Christ, I love the look of these miniatures, please make that first player, that scenario, open to them. Don't just say, yeah, I know you love orcs, but we need you to play Marines for this first scenario. Because it's like immediately, why? Why would I do that? So...
What's your desk cam on, mate?
What? My desk cam?
Yeah, your desk cam's on stream topic. Or am I slow and behind things? I've magically gone way back in the stream.
I was going to say,
ignore me.
That's fine. I was going to say it shouldn't be. I think I'm broadcasting the main shot.
Ignore
yeah,
me. I'm an O.
that's all right. We had a technical difficulties. Ticket. So
let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Infinity. Infinity is a guided tour that steps you through step by step because the rules are so deep and complex, and adds it bit by bit.
Do you know what? Malifaux did this in Malifaux 2nd edition. The 2-player starter box had a stage set of 5 scenarios where you literally started with 1 miniature each and learned about movement, and then you had like 2 miniatures each and learned about movement and combat, and it literally built you up. I think I'm correct in saying, correct me in the chat if I'm talking bollocks, but I know both Red Veil and Kaldstrom, the 2-player start sets, they have a series of staged missions, probably 5, is it, mate? 6, something like that.
Yeah.
And you start with a few miniatures and then you add more until by the end of it, you're playing with the full faction in the 2-player starter. If you're restricting miniatures because you've got a 2-player starter mode, that's fine because you're selling the whole packaged experience. The only thing that I would say to, like Malifaux did that in 2nd edition, there is no equivalent for 3rd edition because there's no 2-player starter. Infinity do a fantastic job in those games, but if you want to play in a learning game of Infinity, your only guidance is the 4 scenarios that are for free in the rulebook. At the PDF rulebook has got 4 at the back. Annihilation, Supply, something else.
I thought there was more than 4.
No, there is only 4 in the core rulebook. Their ITSs, their tournament packs have like 8, 10, 12, an insane number of scenarios, but they're incredibly complicated. So yeah, if you're going to do fixed models in the context of a 2-player box, fine. But for God's sake, for Infinity, the idea of having a staged learning where you take just a couple of models and then you have 3 models, 4 models, whatever, that's brilliant. Why just fucking design a PDF with those missions in it and stick it up for free? Don't lock it in a 2-player starter box, particularly with a game as mind-meltingly complicated as Infinity, because it's a fantastic way to step in. Same for Malifaux. Produce some fucking staged missions and say, like, okay, you can only bring 2 fucking minions a piece of any faction, or you can only bring a henchman and a minion or whatever. But put something up for free.
Yeah, make a start on something.
If you're gonna do the work and release a great idea, don't fucking lock it into a paywall of like 90 quid for new players, because new players might not want to drop 90 quid on a 2-player start set to try it. They might want to try before they buy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But having said that, to sort of like come to the next stage of it is, like we've said, you don't need to do that. Manufacturers do not need to do anything that complicated. You don't even, to be fair, need to write a specific starter scenario for your core rulebook or whatever.
No, you only have to just say, if you're doing this as a starter scenario, consider doing this instead.
Just add a paragraph in your fucking scenario section saying, for new players, we recommend playing scenario 4 with the following changes. That's all you need to do. Just play test it, come up with an idea, and stick it in. Little paragraph. And it's shocking how many games don't do that. It really baffles me in the miniature wargaming scene. Miniature wargaming is a very esoteric and odd thing for people to get into anyway. Even board gamers come at it with like a sideways glance. Even with board games being as miniature heavy as they are. Please, for God's sake, it doesn't take much. But again, you know, and do you know what? If you're one of the lucky few, like Paul, Pandyman, who has a game that's so quick, snappy, and simple at its core that actually you can just say to somebody, "Don't worry about it. Pick 3 or 4 models, just play the game. You'll get it, and do you know what? It'll be over in 20 minutes, and you'll have just had fun." If you're one of those lucky people, then fucking there you go. Your job's done. You don't need to do anything else. But
It's easy.
to be fair, in the miniature wargaming space, most games aren't like that, are they, mate?
No, they are really not, and that's the thing. Here, you don't want to, particularly with an intro scenario, either overwhelm your new player to the point that they're that turned off by the game that they go, actually, I'm all right. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go now and play something else instead because my head is completely overwhelmed. But you also want enough to keep them interested. It's quite a Damoclean sword to balance.
Yeah, it looks like the guys are sorting out. I see you're all talking about getting together for a drink. I'm assuming you're talking about UKGE there.
Yes,
So
I believe they
yeah,
are.
we'll have to do that. Because that's the other nice thing about UKGE. I don't know, for those of you, again, when we get closer to the time, you guys will have to let us know. Because if you're only on day tickets, so you might want to not be staying late or whatever, particularly if you've got a long travel with no staying over and that. But we'll work something out, either a lunchtime or we could even do 2. We could do like a lunchtime for you guys that can't stay all day, and then like an evening get together for the guys who have managed to get are either close enough that they can stay late or are actually staying over. But yeah, that plan will happen. That sounds like a definite winner. So yeah, that's us setting the world to rights and setting our stall out for starter scenarios. I don't think there's
Chatcast, if you're going to stay over, look for hotels towards Coventry or equivalent. Yes, it's a short drive away, about 30 minutes tops.
Yeah, Coventry, you can get in on the train as well if you don't fancy driving it.
It would be better because UKGE, as is, well, the NEC in general, there's a show on, hotel prices are 3 times the price that they are if there's not a show on.
Yeah, if you're looking,
they've got you by the balls.
If you're looking, I mean, David and I have done it a few years now. Even when you start shopping, I mean, I normally start shopping for a hotel immediately after the show's finished, because you'll find that a lot of the hotels will only book about 10 months ahead. So you can't normally book a full 12 months ahead. A lot of them won't do that. But even if you're booking as far as 9-10 months out, you're looking at £100 a night for a room. That it is an absolute screw. It's one of the biggest problems with UK Games Expo, the hotel prices. But like David says, if you don't mind a little bit of travel at the beginning and end of your day, it's got fantastic. It's got literally the railway station is in the fucking venue, so you can get in on the train relatively easily. And that, I mean, and often, to be fair, a short ticket, like a short train ride ticket, will be cheaper than the day's parking anyway.
Yeah,
so you might want to leave the car.
I've done the NEC from staying in the city centre. I'm staying at one of the city centre hotels in the Chinatown district. The train fare, yes, it's a bit of a walk across to get to Birmingham New Street, but the train fare, I think, on an anytime return is like 13 quid. It's exactly the same price you'd pay if you were parking there anyway. So let's just make it a bit easier and use a train.
And obviously, if you're taking the train, it also means you can have a few bevies at the bars at lunchtime and not worry about having to go drive home in the evening. So it just opens up your options. Paul, don't tell me that you got a really great deal at the Arden. How good a deal was it? In fact, don't tell me.
You're going to be sick with envy,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Yeah. I think I literally booked out. I booked at the Arden. I think it was about July, was it, last year? I literally booked as soon as I could. And it was still
Megabucks.
Yeah, mine was only just, I think it was just less than 100. It wasn't a lot less than 100. God, do you know what, Shakos? You're stealing our stream idea. We were going to do a sort of like survival guide to UKG. What do you think, guys? Think should we do that as a stream? Let us know as well if you're watching later in YouTube. The comments down below. Do you want to see that sort of stream where we cover like being? I say veteran sounds pompous as fuck, doesn't it? Being people who've done like the full 3-day event, several years on the bounce. Our recommendations on, what to do. Yeah, Paul says that sounds like a good idea, because we did think that might be a good idea for a stream. The short answer to your question, Shakos, it really depends. If you want to sample the experience and can get the time off work, Friday is the best day. Because the problem with Saturday is the volume of traffic and the crowds explode. So Friday you'll see everything, and it'll be a full day.
Sunday's a short day.
That's the problem with Sunday. It's a short day, and again, it's way busier than Friday. And particularly if you're somebody who's like, even if you're staying in your hotel but then leaving Sunday, that will then become a nightmare, because obviously the roads all become congested, every fucker's fleeing. It's just like, if you're on a day ticket and can get the time off work, Friday is the day. You've got breathing space.
We do Thursday to Monday is so that we're not driving home in the rat race, and we are there bright and early for Friday morning for show opening.
And the other advantage of Friday, of course, is the big retailers, they're super fucking organised. So what'll happen with companies like Warlord is they'll have a van come in every day with restocks. Okay? So the big stalls, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which day you go shopping, they'll be restocking what they can throughout the event to make sure that they've got what you want. If you're talking
in the case of Warlord, you place an order.
I mean, Warlord are nuts, because if you don't have what they've got, they'll immediately say, I'll tell you what, I'll phone and see if the warehouse have got it, and I'll bring it in for you tomorrow. So, do you know what I mean? That Warlord really will offer you a good service. You don't get any discount, but you can get great service from the guys at the Warlord stand. Yeah, that's not a bad call, Shakos. We were one of the guys from our club did that, coming in on the train from Birmingham every day, and yeah, you see that, and that's exactly my point I was making, Paul. Is like, if you're a small vendor like Paul and hundreds of the vast majority of the people at UKGE are small vendors.
Look at the guy that did fucking the multi-award winning Moonstone this year. He was organised. He had a shit ton of stock. He had restocks. Year before, he was short of stock on the final day. He had fuck all left, didn't he?
Who was that? Sorry, mate. I was just reading the comments.
Moonstone.
Yeah. Moonstone. Yeah, again. So if you, again, a printer in the hotel. Is that printer in the hotel? Okay. So if, like I say, if you want to do some shopping, Friday's better for that, because you know that even the small guys will have stock of stuff. You'll have a better choice, a better selection at places like Bad Squidoo, and stuff like that, because by the end of the show, their stock levels will be massacred.
And the other thing, me and Paul going on a multi 3-day pass means, day one on the Friday, we do all of the scouting and do 90% of the shopping, don't we?
Basically, that's what we've done every year, yeah.
Saturday and Sunday are the days we do all of the demo shit, go and get pictures, go and get content for you guys here on the stream, and do all of that stuff on the Saturdays and Sundays. If there's an amazing deal that we didn't see on the Friday, on the Saturday, we'll buy it, because I think not last year, the year before, or even the year before that, that Everdell stuff was dirt cheap from that guy that bought the Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah, the guy who was
didn't have that advertised
Kickstarters
on Friday. It was on the Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah. Again, because it was one of the big trade stands, and he was obviously restocking as he went. So yeah, we are sort of spoiling our stream, but for you guys.
But no, we're not though, because we've got more hints and tips for all you boys and girls at home. We'll do that soon.
Yeah, we will. We'll do it obviously nearer. I mean, I say we'll do it nearer the time. It's about 4 weeks away, isn't it? Fucking hell. End of May.
May
it's about
is
5
now
weeks.
Mental. May is mental.
Yeah.
We have Dicini next weekend. Then we have a weekend off. Then we have Partisan. Then we have another weekend off. And then we have UK Games Expo.
That's the other thing that's nice for UKGE for us. I don't know how David feels. I mean, I know we tend to sort of like mine it for content afterwards, and we always have a lot to say about UKGE. But I'm very much, when I go to UKGE, I haven't got my live streamer YouTuber head on, because I know that the guys at Beasts of War are just absolutely smashing it out of the park with the coverage. So I don't need to worry about that. Perhaps I should, I don't know. Maybe I've got the wrong idea. But I go as, for me, it's an experience for me, and I indulge myself. To be fair, Dicini and Partisan are a little bit different. David and I do very much go at that. Well, I don't know if David will be coming to Partisan, but I'm planning to do both in May, so I'm probably going to be fucking exhausted.
I'm fucking doing it.
Okay, right. So, but we will definitely be going to Dicini and Partisan very much more as YouTubers to try and get some good structured content. I want to reproduce what I did with Derby and get some interviews with the what we did at Chilcon, and get some interviews with the vendors. If we can get video as well this time, with it being the two of us, that would be great. If you're still in the chat, Ewok, the message you sent me, I will be getting back in touch with you about that. So thank you.
Have you asked Ewok about his game thing?
His game thing?
The mythic-y one, the Cthulhu-y
one.
Oh,
no, I haven't. Well reminded. Is he? I don't know if Ewok's still here or whether he's gone to bed or whatever.
It doesn't matter. So, Ewok will probably catch up if he's not here.
Ewok, right. Have you had chance to dig in to When Nightmares Come from Osprey? We've only got a few minutes left. Because again, I've been super skint this month. There have been moments where my bank balance was below 10 quid, and me and the wife have been playing a game of fucking loan sharking to keep us running for the month. But I'm going to get paid soon, so before I go and get it, is it as good as it looks? Or now you have it, have you had a chance to look at it? Is it like, oh no, you should definitely do it, it's everything you expected, it's brilliant, or not? Tell you one thing I haven't done, I haven't checked to see if anybody's done a good under the bonnet video on YouTube yet either. I shall search for that as soon as we finish streaming, because I'm really jazzed for that. Okay, looks like a reskin of Nightwatch, basically. A bit refined, but pretty decent on a skim through. Okay, so...
I'll tell you what, though, Paul. It's at Dicini.
Oh!
It is at Dicini.
Okay. I may be holding my powder. So what, they're running a demo table for it?
Yes, I do believe so.
Oh.
It's on the show plan.
Which pub? To be honest with you, Shakos, there's a It's one of the franchises. I can't fucking remember which one. There's a pub in the actual main event hall near one of the entrances. That's really popular.
Weatherspoons.
Weatherspoons. They often run out of food, but they rarely run out of beer. Or there's a really good pub, literally 5-minute walk away. It's got like a great terrace garden thing that looks out over the lake, so you can vape and that if that's your bag. Yeah, please do, Ewok. Please do, Ewok. Because yeah, as I say, I am a bit of a sucker for the old Cthulhu games. I was thinking about it actually. To be fair, I could probably just buy Japanese. I was watching Dave from MS Paint's gush over the Bushido, and I was thinking, oh, you bastard, that's another game I've got to buy.
Oh, did anyone see Dave's live stream last night with the Fallout miniatures?
Yeah.
Just while we're on the topic.
Yeah. Obviously, David and I, while we were chatting about tonight and making plans to entertain you guys, we just popped in to see Dave. So yeah, I don't know if you guys caught it. It's great. I like Dave as a yeah, I know, Paul. Stop. Fucking hell, mate. You're as bad as him. Fucking oh yeah, this is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. That's it. You try and bankrupt me. Fucking hell. But yeah, I do like Dave. He's got a great personality. He's a really likable guy. And he came across. Do you know what? Everything he does is with aplomb, and he's just so fucking chill, no matter what he's doing. And his live stream is the same. Tell you what, great chat interaction.
When are you going to stop being salty? Because that's my bag, and you've taken it from me lately.
Me? Salty? Surely not.
Yes. I don't know what's happened in your old age, but you've suddenly become a very salty bastard.
Me? Salty? No.
Whereas I'm more peppery.
You're fucking more peppery, my ass.
Oh, those wheels look fucking banging.
Yeah, we'll save that tip for the hot take show. So we got 4 minutes to go. I have painted nothing. I have just literally smoked my pipe and talked to you guys all fucking night. So
well, hang on a second, because while you've been doing the square root of fuck all.
To be fair, that's the other nice thing, Darren. I mean, I know you've painted the minis just for the minis, but the minis are gorgeous on top of the game being great. Test of Honor is also another one. Test of Honor is another game I could so fucking do.
Come down to the mini cam, my man.
Okay. Stop bullying me. David Camera. No, not David Camera. David Content Display. David Tabletop. Ba-ding! Wow, I like them rims. Fuck me. Is that gold? Or are you...
No, that's brass from Vallejo.
Wow. Fuck me. That's intense. Goes well with that purple.
And then I'm thinking probably a red intake cover on these. I'm going to pick out some of the details on the minigun with like a green ammo crate and stuff. And then I need to do the armor on the sides and start painting the interior. So that's what I've been up to, as well as I now have, if I put the Michigan car back together, a tinted fucking windscreen.
I don't know if you guys spotted David's cool little corrugated armor plate on that other car. Just bring that other car back.
Hang on. Look at the tint on that.
So what? How have you? I'll be fair, mate. It just looks like it's sprayed black, but it's sprayed black on the inside, is it?
Yes, it is. So it's got a gloss to it from the outside.
Okay, that's a cool way of doing it. So look at
the armor paneling on this.
Are you going to pick them out in a different color?
Yes, I am going to. So
tell everybody about how that works, because this is fucking genius.
I'm a beer drinker. So I've got a beer can, cut the top off it, cut the bottom off it. I now have a sheet of metal for doing my Gasland stuff. I bought what's referred to as like a tube squeezer for like toothpaste and stuff. So it's 2 corrugated metal rolls on like 2 plastic handles that you crimp together, and then it's got a key for turning. It's designed to squeeze your toothpaste down to the bottom of your toothpaste outlet.
Paul says,
But
great rim job. And Shako says, caution,
instead-
you will summon the Crispin.
Instead, if you put
Fucking excellent.
beer cans in it, you end up with some nice corrugated metal.
Fucking genius. I couldn't believe it when he told me it was a tube squeezer.
Cut
It's
that
fucking
down.
such a
and
cool
then
idea.
The back here is just, again, cardstock over the window, and then thin metal strips cut from the beer can, super glued on. And then all these little rivets are 1.6 millimeter styrene rods cut with a scalpel and glued in place.
Those rivets work really well. I just think that arm plating is fucking banging. It's such a genius little thing.
And I'm really liking the colour shift on this car, how it works.
As I say, I am sure it looks way better in the flesh, mate. As I say, for my eye, the problem with the camera is it's just coming. The purple is the only note that's coming across. Sometimes you're catching hints of orange on the sides as you tilt
There's hints
it,
of orange and hints of pink.
but it's yeah. To
There
be
you go.
fair,
You can
it's
see it on that front fender there.
it's like
orange.
I tell you what, Darren, I cannot wait till David gets a lot of his stuff painted, because now he's got some colour down on all of those 3D printed terrain pieces, like his containers and stuff. The tables are starting to really look good for Gaslands. Excellent, in fact.
And again, you said like you're loving the fact that I'm now ripping cars apart and building them.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm like Ewok saying, there is no way we would go to that level of fucking effort. But hats off to you, mate. The fucking finished result is fucking amazing. Absolutely brilliant looking. And when they get paint on them, they're just going to look fabulous.
So no, that's what I've mainly been up to tonight. I'm going to paint this driver and stuff after stream, get him slapped in, and start doing some of the armor panels.
Because the driver is in the windowless one, isn't it? The one that's got the
the driver's in the Miyazaki one. Let's see if I can pull it apart a minute and get the driver in just before we end stream. There we go. Put the driver in. Oh bollocks! That's the light cluster gone. Oh well, I'll get that after. There you go. If I move the light angle, there you go.
That'll be great. Remember, when you're painting the driver, push
Go
all
way
your
higher than I need
yeah,
to.
to fight against, because there's such deep shadows in that cockpit. If you push all of your colours right up, it'll work much better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
yeah,
no,
can't wait to see it finished.
Yes, it's a chore. Yes, it's effort to strip and split bodies, but I do like doing it, and it also means that I can longer term do cut and shut jobs as well. Because what I'm thinking is I'm going to get like a front end that I like and a rear end that I like, and then manually solder them back together. Once I've cut them apart.
To be fair though, for some of the factions like Warden or whatever, soldered, a cut and shut would work perfectly for that sort of faction, wouldn't it? Right.
Exactly my thoughts.
Well, there you go, guys. That's another 2 hours. Just gone. Blink of an eye. Can't believe it. So, what do we need to say? We need to remind everybody about painting competition. Whoever sent me the message earlier, I think it was Ewok. Yeah, obviously you're not too late, mate, because it's next week, isn't it? No, in fact,
yes.
It's 2 weeks. Because we do
no,
it.
It isn't. Oh,
well,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is, because we're not doing the club. We're not doing the event at club until the 6th. So we do the paint competition at club on the first Monday in the month, which is going to be the 6th of May. And then obviously we'll cover it on live stream on the 9th of May. So if you want to contribute a picky of a model to go into our sort of like informal painting competition stroke just a bit of fucking shits and giggles, The topic is humour for this month. I will be painting the Joker from my Batman Gotham Chronicles.
Whereas I have
game.
my one-shot, one-kill Gaslands car.
It's predictable.
It's hilarious.
But I don't care. So you've still got 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today to get me a picture. You can either send it to the email address down below.
Bank holidays affect nobody, Paul. It just affects our attendance. There might be fewer people there.
Yeah, to be fair, the attendance might be down, but you know, we keep soldiering on because we just love playing games. And anyway, what are you going to do with the bank holiday? Spend it with your family? Get what? What? Fucking priorities?
Get a grip. Spend it with your mates. Throw some dice. Play some games. Have some fucking fun.
Definitely. So, yeah, you still got 2 weeks for that. And on a final note, huge thanks to these guys over on the right-hand side of your screen. As usual, they made the show. We were just the twats that turned up and turned all the buttons on.
One more thing to say just before you're going.
Go for it.
Over here is the chat that obviously helps. But in last week's show and in the show notes is the discount code for Pandyman that's running till the end of April, isn't it?
That's true.
Watching this on catch up, this week is pretty much your last week to use it.
Yes, because it's only going to work on Paul's website for another few days from today. I will copy that code entry across and I'll put it in this video description as well. But obviously that will be the last one. You will not be able to use it after the end of April. So go and give Paul some business. First thing you need to buy is some trench offensive miniatures because they are absolutely amazing. Even if you're not intending to play his game, which you should consider doing, they are fantastic World War I sculpts with some great character. They will slot into all sorts of historical armies. So you should just be doing that. Even if you do nothing else. It's humour, Shakos. Humour, as in haha funny. And the other thing we'll want to say about the theme, obviously David's doing a Gasland car. And he's saying I'm doing it because it's hilarious. That's how we roll. We don't expect you to be bang on point. If you can think of a cool reason why your model qualifies for humour, that's fine. As the most important thing is that we get stuff painted, we get rid of the grey, and we get to coloured painted miniatures, and we do them one at a time and get rid of them. So, mate, do it. It doesn't matter how tenuous it is, do it. And even if
a little goblin falling out of the crow's nest, that will be brilliant.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Do the Jolly Roger, but put a slight smile. That's it. That's all you need. There you go. Humour. Done. Right. So, if you can only do one thing, please click the like button. If you can do other things like share, comment, and subscribe, then Christ, do those as well. But all we ask is a like. It's only a little thing for you, but it's a fucking massive thing for us. And it might get YouTube to share this video more widely. We are going to call it now and go and well, for me, I'm going to try and find if there's any videos for this new game from Osprey, When Nightmares Come, is it? Or something.
Yeah.
But we hope to see you all next week. Signing out.
I think I'm going to get the black polyurethane primer out.
I wondered where he was going with black polyurethane. I bet Crispin was as well. Oh, my God. Right. See you later, guys.